I won a Whatnot raffle at the National Sports Collectors Convention and used the winnings to buy Pokemon cards. Did I make a dumb purchase? Am I going to make any money? Let's dive into it. Last month, at the end of July, the National Sports Collectors Convention took place in the city that I live in, Chicago. Now, as the name of this convention suggests, the vast majority of what is at this show is sports related, obviously. But as I knew from what friends have told me, I could at least expect some Pokemon cards to be there. So I bought my tickets, was super excited, and went to the event and absolutely did not disappoint. I went to the Don Diego trade night on Friday, and then I spent all day at the convention Saturday and Sunday with so many of the awesome members of this Pokemon community that we all know and love. So had a great time, and it was just a blast. So the story that I want to tell today involves the Whatnot booth at the National. Now, I know that Whatnot is in the news for some other things right now, but I'm not here to talk about that today. So Whatnot had this booth at the National, and they were running various giveaways throughout the weekend, different raffles. They had different things going on at the booth, pretty much what you'd expect from a Whatnot booth at the National. So I was with my friend Vandy Flips, met him in Denver. We walked around the convention together, good guy. We were just having a good time on Saturday, walking around the convention. He streams on Whatnot, so he suggested to me, he was aware of these raffles. He suggested, hey, why don't you just go ahead and go into these raffles? It's free to enter. If you win, it's only a $23 charge. So they had 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s sports themed giveaways, raffles, as well as you could win a Mercedes-Benz previously driven by Michael Jordan. So the reason why it was the $23 if you win is because Michael Jordan's jersey number, Michael Jordan's car in Chicago, in his city. So had the whole Michael Jordan theme going on there with the sports giveaway. So in any event, I quickly just logged into my Whatnot account on my phone and entered all these raffles. It took just a couple minutes to log in and enter them all. And I quickly kind of just went about my business at the convention. That was that. And we walked around, had a great time. And went home. So later that night, when I got back home, I got this email saying that I won one of the raffles. So I ended up winning the 80s sports theme giveaway. So at first, I was a little skeptical that there would be anything worthwhile in this raffle. I knew that it was a $23 charge, and I figured the thing's going to be worth $50. Make you feel a little good about spending the $23. It was just like, hey, $50 item, whatever, cool. I won it. So. In any event, I went back to the National the next day, which was Sunday, to claim the prize. You had to go in person to pick it up at the booth. So I went to the booth. I showed them the confirmation email, and they had me draw a number between, I believe, like 1 and about 60 or 70. It looked like you could. There was a case and something behind the counter, some stuff behind the counter that showed 50, 60, 70 different items that they had that you could win. So they gave me basically pulled a number out of a hat. And I was assigned the number, and that number coordinated with something behind the case there. So pulled the number, they went behind and pulled out this sealed 1984 Topps sealed box. So sealed wax. So ended up winning the sealed box. Had no idea at all what it was worth, or when I first got it, I was just like, I guess this is good, because I think a guy came in right before me and he won like a single wax pack. So they had items. I knew they had items ranging from just a single pack of 80s or 90s sports cards all the way up to, they actually did have some 86 Fleer PSA graded Jordan cards. I think PSA 6, PSA 7, though, worth a couple $1,000. So anyways, I ended up winning the sealed box. So right away, got it in my hands, knew it was better than at least a single sealed pack. So it was cool. I looked at it, quickly realized it was authenticated and wrapped by BBCE. So quickly did some eBay searches, did some searches online, talked to a friend at a booth who knew what they were dealing with in sports cards, and I quickly realized that 1984, which is the year that I had, was a really good year to have for sealed football cards. So I am a sports guy. Like I watch sports. I'm into football, basketball. Like I know what's going on, but I'm not into sports card collecting. So I had no intentions of keeping this or opening it, or I'm a Pokemon guy. Like I love sports, but collecting cards, Pokemon guy. So anyways, after doing some quick research, I knew that 1984 was a special year, a good year to have in terms of rookie cards. Dan Marino rookie card, as well as John Elway rookie cards are in that 1984 box. So those are two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, obviously great players, and awesome rookie class to have. So got super pumped, lucky, realized I had something here. Worth a decent chunk of money. So eBay searches, talking to friends, I realized that it was worth probably about $1,100 to $1,900 from what I was seeing. Like, again, I don't know much about sealed booster boxes, or I guess they call it sealed wax in sports. Just quick search. I mean, you can kind of figure it out looking at sold listings, looking at similar items, looking at buy list. 1,100, 1,900. It really was my lucky day, because not only did I win like an awesome prize, I was literally probably in the best place in the entire planet to be able to sell an item like that in person for cash. At being at this massive convention, just hundreds of booths, and people with cash looking to trade, buy, sell. I knew I was in a great place to do it. I did not want to take it home and sell it on eBay. So on the recommendation of a friend, I decided to first try to sell this to Dave and Adams. So Dave and Adams Card World had a massive booth at the convention. I've heard of them before. I know they sell Pokemon cards as well, but they're big sports guys. They had a gigantic booth. It was first recommended to me to go try to sell to them. And then the second recommendation was to take it to BBCE, Baseball Card Exchange, which wrapped and authenticated the box. So I had that box. It was wrapped. It was given their seal of approval, seal of authenticity. So those are my first two targets. And before we move on, people watching this video will remember that BBCE, Baseball Card Exchange, are the same guys that mistakenly authenticated the first set base case for Logan Paul and created that iconic meme of we all got duped, agreed. So the guy that was actually in that meme, this guy right in this picture, he was actually at the booth. So I thought that was really funny. But anyway, my first stop was at the Dave and Adams booth. They were the first ones I talked to, and I did some research on eBay and talked to a couple people. But like, I'm again Pokemon guy, don't buy and sell any sports cards whatsoever. Didn't really have a true feel of the market or what the market for sealed booster boxes were at 1984 in particular, and the condition of the box. Like, I just had no idea. So because I didn't know that, I went into it with a really high asking price. I believe I asked $2,200. I just didn't want to lowball myself. Didn't really know what was going on. Just figured I'd shoot high and go from there. And the guy at the booth, I believe his name might have been Reed, at Dave and Adams booth, was basically like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, not even close. Like, he seemed super annoyed. He was like, "Why are you wasting my time? Like, I'm offering half of that. Like, I'm at around $1,100." And I was like, I tried to negotiate a bit upwards and referenced the buy list and just some things I had seen. He was super annoyed with me coming in with that high offer, and he was like, "I'm out. I pass." Like, basically, like, get out of my face. And like, I don't blame him for being like, get the hell out of here with that super high offer. But like, I didn't know. So don't blame him. Just didn't work out. Came in way too high, but that's kind of what I planned on doing. I just want to get a feel of the market coming high, and he wasn't having it. He was like, not a real offer, get out of my face. So anyways, don't blame him. So I moved on to our friends at BBCE and asked them if they'd like to purchase the box. Again, they're the ones who authenticated it. So they took it behind the counter. And two guys were looking at it and turning it over and whispering back and forth and talking about it. And they were like looking over at me and looking back. So they came back to me and said that, we're going to pass. Like, we're not even going to make an offer at all. Like, thanks, but no thanks. Like, see ya. So this kind of spooked me in a sense, because they're the ones that originally authenticated it, checked the condition. So it made me think that, it's very possible that they were just tapped out and didn't want to buy anymore and like had spent what they wanted to spend by Sunday. But at the same time, I was like, that was kind of weird, because they took it like they were going to, like the first guy took it like he was going to make an offer and was interested in the item. So them taking some time discussing, like they were still buying stuff, or else they would have been like, we're not buying. So it kind of spooked me in the sense that they might have seen some weird condition issue or something that I wasn't aware of with the box that was hurting the value because of the condition and how the seal, or I don't know anything about these boxes. So that kind of spooked me that they didn't even want to make a single offer. Like, they didn't even say, hey, there's something wrong with this. Here's a low ball offer of, $900, like whatever. So I was like, well, maybe I don't have something worth $1,100. Like, maybe something's wrong with it. So wasn't feeling super awesome after those first two interactions. So after not having success at the first two booths, I then walked around the convention for a little bit. And for about 15 minutes, I was looking for any booth that was advertising that they were actively buying sealed wax. I didn't want to just spend my time walking up to each booth like, you want to buy this, you want to buy this. I like kind of took my time, walked around a bit, and a lot of these booths have banners behind them saying, we're buying sealed baseball. We buy 1960s baseball, or we buy 1980s basketball, or whatever. So anyways, I finally, after walking around for about 15 minutes, found a booth that said, we buy, vintage sealed football boxes, sealed wax. So found this booth. Finally came across this guy, so I engaged with them. It was an older husband and wife combo. I started talking to the guy, and I could tell that just having the box, that kind of immediately piqued his interest. He was very interested in the item. He said, he used to collect this particular set, and he was interested. He was wanting to purchase it, interested, ready to go. So I thought, great. Seemed like a nice guy. So we started the negotiations. This time I didn't start as high at the 2,200 because I realized that was way too high for the item that I had. So I started at 1,900. I think he started at 1,100, and we back and forth negotiation. Finally, we're able to strike a deal in the middle at $1,500 cash. So after I was really pleased with the deal, after that experience with David Adams and the experience with BBCE, not even wanting to make an offer at all, I was really happy to be walking away with what I perceived as a fair value at $1,500. A couple of the last sales on eBay were in the $1,800 range before eBay fees. So being able to walk away with kind of a last sold amount in cash in my hand at the convention after those two less than ideal experiences trying to sell it at the big guys, was really pleased with that. So I had $1,500 cash in my pocket, and I knew that I wanted to spend that money on Pokemon cards for resale. So now I didn't spend the cash, that $1,500, at the convention to buy Pokemon cards to resell. Although I did buy some Pokemon cards, but the main purchase that I want to talk about here that I made with that $1,500 is a lot of 50 Yu Nagaba Pikachus, sealed copies. I bought them on eBay with the cash that I won from this Whatnot raffle. So I've graded copies with all three grading companies, and I've got a nice little spreadsheet that we can dive into the numbers here. I've already sold some of them, already got the CGC return back, so we'll dive into the numbers, dive into exactly how much I bought them for, my decisions for why I sent certain copies to certain grading companies, talk about the numbers, and dive into it and see if this was a smart buy or not, or if I'm going to get wrecked and this was a stupid purchase to make. So let's dive into the numbers. All right, so let's get into the numbers here. So as I said, I bought 50 copies, 50 sealed copies of the Yu Nagaba Pikachu promo. Bought them on eBay. This is a card that I've been buying and selling for a while. So I bought several copies in the past, graded them, sold them. So it's been a great card for me. It's a card that I really like. It's a promo that I love. It's a very unique. People either love it or hate the art, but I think it's just a really unique looking card, very very striking, and it's a card that I believe in, card that I really like, and I decided to buy a large lot of them. So I was looking at eBay. I've been looking regularly just throughout the last few months, and I finally found a high quantity listing, 50 copies for $1,650 total. I ended up grading 14 copies with CGC. So you see these right here. I got the grades back already. CGC is fast. I've already sold all of the 10s, still sitting on the 9s, but still graded 14 copies with CGC. I graded, scroll down here, we've got, I believe, 16 copies with PSA. Those are still out at being graded at PSA right now. And I graded another 16 copies with BGS. So graded these with Beckett. They're currently with James, Z&G Emporium. Sent them to him a few weeks back, and he sent them off to Beckett, and he'll be auctioning them off for me, and who knows when they'll get back, a few months. So anyways, after all of that, we kept 4 copies sealed. These copies are copies I decided that would not be worth grading, whether they had terrible centering or had something going on in the back or whatever the case may be. Kept 4 of them sealed. We'll just go through the numbers here real quick. So I, as I said, graded these copies with CGC, already got them back. Did pretty well. So these are the new labels with the new kind of grading scale and kind of the new CGC. So I ended up getting 6 pristine 10s. I got, 4 Gem Mint 10s and 4 Mint 9s. So was really pleased with those results overall. The pristine 10s sold extremely well. So we've got in column C here. This is the net amount that I got after eBay fees and shipping. So this is my take home for each of those sales. So I believe I had them listed for $129, $134 for these cards, which is great. So we'll see here in column D, this is the net profit per card, and we got that by obviously subtracting the raw sealed price of $33 per card. We added in the grading cost to get the $46.43 average price per card, all in with the grading. So that's where these numbers in column D are. Right now, without having sold any other copies, so we've only sold the 10s from CGC. So we'll have 16 PSA copies and 16 BGS copies to sell when those get back, and we are currently down $1,342. So need to clear that amount to get into the break even. So far, the sales have gone well. Obviously, it depends greatly on the grading results. So was really pleased with the CGC results. Still not sure what I'm going to do with these 9s. If I'm going to crack them out, I'm going to try to sell them at Collecticon for about a break even there, about $45 a slab. Just move those on and get out of those grading misses there. But decided to grade with all 3 grading companies. Just talk about my reasoning for a little bit here and why I decided to grade certain copies with 3 different companies instead of just sending them all to one company. So I'm going black label hunting with BGS. So I picked out my 16 best and highest condition cards. Just spent a little bit of time looking through them. Picked out the best centered ones. Made sure that they were looking good on the back as well, and sent off my highest quality cards to Beckett. I believe the last sales for BGS Black Label Unagaba Pikachu's is around $700. I haven't checked them in a couple weeks, but at the time that I sent these, $700. So if I can just get 1 or 2 Black Labels, would be super pumped with that. Obviously, you can't guarantee that. That's just we're hoping, we're playing, doing a little bit of a lottery here, gambling. But these are higher quality Japanese promos. They tend to grade well. I've graded quite a few of them in the past and had high PSA 10 rates, high obviously CGC 10 rates. So really hoping for that, and hoping to get at least a couple pristine 10s. Those sell for about the same price right now as a PSA 10 or similar. Hoping to not get too many 9.5s at BGS. So sent my best copies to BGS, and then picked the next top 14 copies. So after that, sent the higher quality ones to CGC, and sent the next best batch to CGC, those 14 there. And then I sent the final 16, what I determined gradable copies, to PSA, because PSA, in my opinion, grades easier than the other 2 companies. So PSA 10s, depending on the grader that you get, depending on the day, as my friend Dan likes to say, consistently inconsistent, but they tend to consistently, in my opinion, grade easier. So decided to take a chance with the third batch there. Not bad quality by any means. I thought they at least all had shots at 10s to get those 10s there. So pretty pleased in all that. There were only 4 copies that I determined weren't worth grading at all. So that is just a quick rundown of the numbers there. I thought it'd be a fun video to kind of dive into some numbers there. We're going to have to do a follow-up video here once I get all the grading results, once all those auctions are complete with James at Z&G Emporium. Getting those Beckett ones back, hoping to get the Black Labels there. But once those are complete, once I sell through the remainder of these, we'll have to do a dive back into the complete numbers. I think I'm going to do pretty well on them. I'm already pleased with the profits that I made with the CGC grades. This is a great card. Bought them for $33 a piece. They're currently, I believe, at like $45. So just in a few short weeks, they keep on rising. So pretty pleased with that purchase. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you think this was a stupid purchase. Let me know in the comments. I'm pretty pleased with it. We will dive back in for a part 2. Hope you enjoyed this one. Little story time at the beginning, talking about the whatnot purchase, and then it with a spreadsheet video. Had a great time filming this. Let me know what you think in the comments. We'll be back for part 2. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.